How's it going, everyone? It's Charles. Um, got a question on my YouTube channel, and it's under the USPS CCA update first few days. And got a question from Tara Ann, and it's a lot of questions, but they're common questions, and you know, quite probably got like I don't know 10 or 12 questions, but they're common, and so I thought I'd just throw a video out. So Tara, if you subscribe to my channel, you'll get notified of this live video, or if you happen to be watching. But anyways, I'm gonna answer these for you, Tara. So the start time is usually like at 7 o'clock. Now this may vary during busy times, like say like coming back from a holiday weekend where uh, you're off, say like a let's see, like Christmas. Say Christmas landed on a Friday, and so then you had like a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. Well, that Monday, because you had Friday and Saturday, which are typically mail days, that Monday is probably going to be heavy in mail and packages. So, now at our facility, when this has happened, like on a holiday weekend, a supervisor will usually put out like a memorandum or just like post something, print a notice by the time clock that just says, all carriers, including CCAs, be in at 6 o'clock, you know, just to give you an extra hour of casing up your mail and organizing your packages and stuff for your route that day. But typical any other day is 7 o'clock. Holiday time, holiday weekends may result in an earlier starting time. The next one, the time that you go home. Now, again, this typical, now this is going to depend on mail, and this is going to fluctuate day from day. So, Mondays, you're going to be probably guaranteed you're probably not going to be getting back in the facility, say 5:30 ish. Now, again, this is all going to depend on your facility. I live in a small town of 35,000 people. If you're living in a town that says that might be 500,000 people, or a major metropolis like Chicago, LA, where you got 1 or 2 million people, it's all going to differ. So, the time you go home, when I was a CCA, there was early days when I got done at 2:30, 3 o'clock. There was some days I didn't get in until 7 o'clock at night. You know, it just depends on what route you're on, how busy that route is. I mean, some routes are heavier than others. Some routes have businesses where other routes are just fully residential and that's it. So every route is going to be different coverage, and it's, some might be part motorized, part walking. Other ones might be full walking routes. Um, when I had injured my knee and stuff, I was doing Route 14. That's a 14 or 15 mile walking route, and that's the one. That's one of them when I didn't get in until past 7 o'clock at night, and I started at 7 o'clock that morning. I had full coverage, and it was a heavy day, so it turned out to be a long night. So, but your typical everyday, like your your Mondays are going to be heavy. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday tend to be on the lighter sides. Um, Fridays can be either or, maybe like medium. So, and then like again, Saturdays are weird. There's some Saturdays that'll be heavy, and then there's other like this past Saturday that we had, and even yesterday when sorting packages, because now I'm a PSE clerk. Um, Yesterday for a Monday was very weird and light on packages. Some of the carriers only had one tray of DPS mail. Others had two, three. It was weird yesterday. Saturday was also light. Kind of weird for a Saturday. So yeah, the time you go out home, that's gonna vary from day to day depending on how heavy your route is for DPS and packages. And being in mail, being the post office, it, I mean, it differs day from day. You might be light one day, and the next day you're going to be super heavy. You just never know until you come in. Amount of hours you typically work a day. So again, just like I was saying, it's going to vary from day to day. When I began as a CCA, and this was like last Christmas, well, not Christmas, but the holiday season, um, I started like beginning of November, so this was like before Black Friday hit, but they were already getting heavy on packages. Now, when I started out, they just had me delivering packages for the carriers. So that way it helped out the carriers so they weren't out as long during the day. But I mean, just delivering packages, there were some days, I mean, I worked 5 hours, and then there's other days I worked 10, 12 hours just delivering packages. And that's for a small community. Like I said, 35,000 people, but that many packages at the holiday times. So, again, your typical hours working a day, it's going to vary. You're going to have some early days, you're going to have other light days. It's just the way it is with, the uh, the post office. How many hours do you typically work in a week? All right, so being a, I'll say this, being a PSE clerk compared to a CCA, both being non-career jobs, totally different hour setups. Me as a PSE right now, I'm working anywhere between say 25 to 34 hours a week. Again, it depends on the mail. For light on mail, it's going to be an early day for me. I may only work 4 hours. Depending if it's heavy mail, so like on a Monday usually. Now, except for yesterday, yesterday was an early day for me. I think I only worked like 3.5 hours. But again, the light on mail, untypical of a Monday. So it was kind of a weird day yesterday. Typical Monday though, Monday I'll usually end up working 8 hours because I got to help in the box section, putting out GPS, working flats, helping the gentleman that's usually in charge of the box section, giving him a hand. And usually by the time I'm done with that, the 9 o'clock truck shows up. So then I'm getting all the pumpkins set up. But, anyways, so again, depending on the mail load of the workday and stuff, it's going to depend on your hours during the week. As a CCA, I would get anywhere between 50 to 60 hours a week. So now 60 being on the heavy side, 50 being kind of in the middle. There was like some days, during the week, there were some light days where I only worked 6 hours. There was other typical days though, I was pulling 10, 11 hours just delivering packages. So again, it It all depends on how heavy the packages in the mail are that day. All right. How many days off do you typically have during a 7 day week? Okay. Now, when I was a CCA, according to the contract, as per they can work you 8 days in a row, but then they have to give you at least 1 day off. Now, again, depending on you know how many carriers and CCAs that you have. So, like if you're fully staffed, and they got as many CCAs as possible and stuff, then your supervisor should be able to try to get you, like 1 to 2 days off a week. But if your facility is having trouble holding people, filling CCA positions and stuff, you might find yourself working 8 days a week before, you finally, or, I should say 8 days in a row before finally getting a day off. But that's as your union contract between the National Letter Carriers Association. So so if you work in 8 days in a row, they have to give you a day off. That's as per union contract. Do you work weekends? Okay, so depending on your schedule and stuff, you may be working 6 days because post office delivers mail, Monday through Saturday, nothing on Sunday. So again, you might be working 6 days a week, with having Sundays off and all that. Now, a little bend to the rule there. Our facility is not an Amazon Sunday facility. Depending on your facility, where you live, and how big the facility is, if your facility does Amazon Sundays where they deliver strictly Amazon, you're not delivering mail, you're not delivering U.S. postal mail on Sundays. This would strictly be Amazon products only, or Amazon packages, I should say. So if your facility is an Amazon Sunday facility, then you'll be expected to work on Sundays also, delivering nothing but Amazon packages. So if that's the case, it shouldn't still be too bad because you're just doing Amazon only. That's it. That would be the only exception to like working full weekends. As a CCA carrier, yes, you're going to be working on Saturdays also. All right. Next question from Tara. Do you get 30-minute break and two 15-minute breaks like a typical 8-hour job? Yes, as per your union contract. Now, not two 15 minutes, but it's two 10-minute breaks. So you take a 10-minute break, 30-minute lunch, 10-minute break, and, later in the day. Um, so yeah, that's as per union contract. So they can't tell you can't take a lunch or anything. Now, depending on your facility, you can work through your lunch if you want. So then you get paid. You still get paid for those 30 minutes and stuff. So like our supervisor has like a chart list of everybody, and you simply sit there and state on there that you didn't take a lunch that day, and they'll be able to check because your scanner and stuff. If they see the scanner sitting in one spot, or your scanner will automatically assume that you're taking either a break or a lunch if it's not moving and sitting in one position, the GPS. If it notices that you haven't been moving or anything for 30 minutes, it'll automatically assume that you are taking your lunch. Um, let's see here. Next one. Where do you usually take your breaks? You'll take them on route. So Usually carriers, as far as like the career carriers, they usually all have their certain places that they'll pull aside, take their 10-minute breaks, or take their lunch. um, that's up to you where you want to take it. Like taking your lunches, you know if you bring your lunch with you, there's certain places where the carriers will park under a, I don't know, a shaded tree or something, where it's nice and cool during hot, during the summer days or spring days and stuff. um, Stuff like that. Do you work holidays? Yes. So if they're non-major holidays, so um, like New Year's, um, uh, trying to think. So some of the non-major holidays, like Christmas, obviously you're not going to work. Thanksgiving, um, but like Martin Luther King Day, Labor Day, the new one, the Juneteenth holiday, the non-major ones, you will, as a CCA, you get 6 paid holidays. Where if you're a career carrier, you have, I think it's now 13 paid holidays. So there's different holidays that you get paid for between career and CCA non-career. So being a CCA non-career, it's 6 holidays you get paid for. So it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, 4th of July, I think Labor Day, and maybe Memorial Day. I I'm not for sure, so I don't have the list in front of me. But like some of the other days, like Martin Luther King Day, um, some of those other odd federal holidays, the full time carriers, the career carriers get paid for that you won't. Um, let's see here. But yeah, some of the holidays you will work. Now, the other thing too is depending if they're heavy, the supervisors will put out like a volunteer list. So if you want to volunteer to work some of those holidays and stuff, you can sign up on that list. And then that way they see that it's like, oh, okay, Tara wants to work on, this day or whatever to help out. And then they'll get you, scheduled and stuff. But yes, there's some holidays that you work, some holidays you don't. Which holidays? Like I said, it's going to be the the non-important ones. Where like Christmas you'll be off, Thanksgiving you'll be off. Where like New Year's Eve or New Year's, that's you'll get paid for it, but you're still going to work it. You know, Stuff like that. Can you easily request time off? Yes, you simply fill out a form and give it to your supervisor. Now, the one thing I will tell you is in your first 90 days that you're in your probationary period, you're not going to want to request any days off because that's your 90-day probationary period, and they'll hit you for it if you're requesting days off. Now, unless it's something medically necessary that they know uh, of when you're going into this position. So, say like if you did like an interview with them, or uh, it's something that you stated in your application process. Um, that they still hired you for, then I would say, you know, that would probably wouldn't be a problem because you're hired upon uh, knowing that you had that medical issue. But typically, your 90-day probationary period, you don't want nothing to happen. You know, now there's going to be things that happen that are beyond your control. Like my instance, I had to request a day off. My wife was in a car accident, fully wrecked our truck, totaled our truck and stuff. The very next, she was released from the hospital, but she had a concussion. I took the next day off to watch her to make sure nothing happened because, like with concussions, the next 24 hours, stuff can still happen. Just in case if I need to take her to the hospital, take her back to the hospital for emergency and stuff. And that hit me when they did my 30-day review. I got hit for that. You know, it is what it is. But it's like I said, it's like, look, it wasn't voluntary. It's not like I got drunk and took the next day off because I was hungover. My wife was in an accident. It was beyond our control. But it's still, you know, it was still counted against me. But again, it's something that I couldn't control. Like I said, it's not like I was drunk or something and took the next day off because I was hungover. You know, that would be more frowned upon or something like that. It was an accident beyond our control. But again, it still counted against my attendance as an improvement. Now, once you get past your 90-day probationary period and all that, then you're basically good to go. So once you get past that 90-day probationary period, if you need to take a day off, you know, for a doctor's appointment or something, then so be it. But I would say during that 90-day probationary period, try not to take anything if you can postpone doctor's appointments till after that 90 days or something. Try to do that because during that 90-day probationary period, if you're taking days off, even if it is for a doctor's appointment or this or that or whatever, and it may be legit, but it's going to count against you, and they're going to sit there and say, okay, well, this person takes a lot of days off because they have a lot of medical necessities or something. That can give them a reason to not keep you after your 90-day probationary period just because you require so much time off all the time. So if you can try to keep it, try to postpone it after your 90 days, try to do that. But yeah, try to keep your 90-day probationary period clean. So that way they got nothing to ding you against during your 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day evaluations. Now, it's not necessarily like that. It's kind of weird because it's like 30-day, 68-day, and somewhat like 87-day. That's kind of weird on the days, but it's basically like your 30, 60, 90. Okay, so as far as your time off, do you get it approved? Yes, your supervisor will need to approve that time off. And like I said, usually if it's not an issue, like if you've got like a fully staffed facility and you've got plenty of people for coverage and stuff, usually the supervisor's not going to have an issue with, um, you know, taking that time off and stuff like that. Now, if you're not a fully staffed facility and you're spread and the carriers are spread thin, then it might, you know, might be a little bit more of an issue trying to get coverage, you know, to give you that time off. So, can you take a full week off or more for vacation? Yeah. So, as a CCA and any other non-career, you know, you get your personal time off that you accrue. You get, what is it? 1 hour for every 20 hours worked. So if you work a 40-hour week, um, that's 2 hours for that week. So in a pay period, which is 2 weeks, so if you got, your 80-hour week typically, then that's 4 hours of personal time every pay period. So that's what, 8 hours a month that you accrue. So say uh, 1 day a month that you'll accrue in personal time off. So then when you have that time accrued and all that. Now, the other thing too is when you are a non career employee as a CCA and even as myself as a PSE, because we are a non career, they can work you 360 days during that year. And then what happens is basically it's kind of like they fire you, but then they bring you back. So they work you for that first year. Then basically it's like you get let go for a week. I think it's like 5 days off, 6 days off, something like that. And then you come back to work again. So, after that year, you're going to be let go, technically, like let go or fired. It's a weird process. But, anyways, you get like fired, then you have a week off. Any personal time, any PTO that you have accrued. So, say, like, I don't know, if you got 80 hours of personal time off that's accrued, all that will be cashed out to you. So you'll see that on your next check. All that PTO is going to be cashed out. You're going to be off for that week. Then you come back, you start fresh again, a whole nother year, and you start off with a clean slate of PTO, which would be 0 hours. Um, Now, again, I'm just answering all those questions because Tara asked a lot of questions and stuff. Now, all of this will be answered in orientation, and um, when you go to CCA Academy, they will go through all of the same stuff with you. So, I'm just trying to answer these the best of my ability, but all of these would be answered in orientation and then when you go to CCA Academy for your training and stuff. All of this stuff gets answered and covered for you. Let's see here. What happens if you wake up or are sick and cannot make it into work? Well, I mean, you do what you do with any other job. I mean, uh, you'd call in sick, or, the other thing too is you could come into work and, I mean, they could send you home, you know. Uh, Now, there's different conflicting things where some people will say, just call in sick. There's other people that would say, well, come in and make them send you home sick. Because then if they make you send you home, then you've made the effort to come in and work. But if they see you so bad, because what they might do is they'll either send you home, say, "Hey, you look terrible. Yeah, go home. Yeah, you're going to be a liability today. Just go home. Come back tomorrow or whatever." Yeah, because then you're making them send you home. They see how bad you are. They're making the decision to send you home. You came in to try to work. They're the ones sending you home. Therefore, they're making the decision. That's their decision, not yours. So, you tried to come into work. That's their decision. Where, if you call in sick, well, that's your decision, and they might hold that against you. So you know, six one way, half dozen to the other. I mean, I can see it going both ways. So, Now, the other thing that might happen is, depending on your route that day, maybe they might stick you on a light route. We've got an auxiliary route that's only like a 3 or 4 hour route that's not that hard. So maybe they might have you do a light route that day to where you'll finish early and you can go home early. Or what they might do is, depending like on what route they have you on that day, they might part your route out. So instead of your route being an 8 hour route, maybe they'll sub out, you know, parts of your route. So then you're only working, 3 or 4 hours of that route. And they've got the other parts covered with other carriers and stuff. So, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. What happens if you have an emergency and cannot make it in? So, again, the best thing you do is, call in and just let them know. I mean, I was in the middle of my shift when my wife got into the accident. I was on my way to a smaller remote office to go pick up their outgoing mail for dispatch when my wife called me and she was crying and said that she was in an accident. I immediately called my supervisor and said, "Hey, my wife was just in an accident." You know, So, she's like, "Well, go to the accident and give me a call when you're there." And I told her, it's like, "Well, I'm almost to the other post office to pick up the dispatch." I said, "Let me hurry up and do that, and then I'll give you a call." Because I didn't want to have to drive all the way back to where the accident was when I was like 1 block away from the remote post office to pick up their dispatch mail for the end of the day. It's going to take me 8 more minutes, then I can go to where my wife was for the accident and then attend to her needs. And that's what I did. As soon as I got there, I called my supervisor. "Hey, I'm here, blah, blah, blah." She sent 2 other CCAs to come and get my keys from me, come and get the vehicle so they can get it to dispatch and stuff. And I was able to take care of my wife. So, you know, just communication. If you got an emergency, you got an emergency. Just you know, call them. Don't call them like during the night and stuff. But usually like our facility, we got people that start at midnight. So from midnight to that point on, there's usually someone at the facility to answer the phone. So if you can't make it in, you can't make it in. If you're in the emergency room because you can't breathe or something, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, how can you go to work when you're having breathing issues, or if you're having an asthma attack or something? And I'm pretty sure your supervisor's not going to put you out on route when you're having an asthma attack. So, it is what it is. I mean, they might talk to you about it, but shit happens. It's like, my wife got into an accident. I had to take the next day off. Did it count against me in my 30-day review? Yes, it did. But, I mean, shit happens in life. There's no controlling it. So, alrighty. And that was the last question from Tara. So, Tara, good list of questions. Like I said, this will all be answered. So, like, if you get the position and stuff, if you make it through all the processes and you accept the position, if you get the job and stuff and you accept it and everything like that and make it through the whole hiring process, this is all stuff that would be covered in orientation and CCA Academy. But a good list of questions, and because there's so many, and they're kind of common questions and stuff, so I thought I'd just do a video, trying to answer all of these for you. So hopefully I've helped out. I'm gonna respond to your message here to let you know I did a live video, trying to answer all your questions to the best of my abilities. Hopefully I was able to help. And like I said, some of these are just, answered on, can't give a definite answer. It all depends, mail differs every day. Some days are going to be light, some days are going to be heavy. It is what it is. So hopefully I helped out Tara. So, alrighty, guys. Thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. And as always, I'd like to thank all my military brothers and sisters and first responders out there for everything you do for this great nation. So, thank you all for doing what you do every day. And everyone else, have an awesome day. Catch you on the next video. Bye.